Yeah, it's going to be a great race out of the Group G of it. Looking over some of the qualifier scores, didn't really see Maligord. Uh, we have no data on him. This is a complete unknown coming in. xirtanul was just under the average and just missed the primary tournament, so this ought to be a pretty good run here.
It appears that we are off to the races. xirtanul taking one route and Maligord diverging to the other. Very interesting to see this already occurring.
Not surprised to see xirtanul start off going down south, wanting to try to farm up some rupees before you go into Kakariko Village.
That does sound like a solid decision. I've normally seen people also jump into escape.
That's...
Oh, go ahead.
That's how I usually do it myself, but I'm also not in the tournament, so what do I do?
Hey, fair enough. And then we just saw the tree pull with 4 fairies, which would have been great if they already had the bug net.
Bombs from the spider over at Maligord.
Nice. Having 2 bombs to play around with is already great for the start of this race when you have at least 2 caves to pop into to throw them at. We also just saw a red potion on, on the Lumberjack Cave, showing that Aghanim 1 may not be required.
And Aghanim hype already gone.
Oh, don't say that yet. They've yet to find the flippers, the glove, or the hammer, so we have no idea how this is going to go down. Getting yet another bomb from the crab. Oh, letting it live this time, a wise strategy.
Well, I think on the other one, bow! Oh, Maligord!
Oh my god, early strats pay off in the Lost Woods. While xirtanul has no idea that the farming has already lost him a little bit of precious time.
So the question for you then, Glentai, when you have the bow this early, is there anything that stops you from clearing out Eastern this early, do you think?
Yes, my complete lack of arrows, as well as the lack of a crap ton of arrows.
Well, and Eastern's the great spot to farm arrows, too. So,
that is true.
Already clear it out.
That is true. Oh, also, if it's a pendant dungeon. I just missed the ledge of the race. Did you see what was on the race ledge?
Yeah, it was a blue rupee.
Okay, so nothing of value was truly lost.
But we have xirtanul coming up from the south here. Let's see what's in the library.
And the bug net in the library. Who knows? That may be required for all that we know.
As far as I'm concerned, it is required. I mean, how can you do Swagnaham strats without it?
That is very true. And inside of the 4 chests in the basement of the Thieves' Den, we don't find a whole lot.
Book! xirtanul pulled the book from
Maligord just pulled the hook shot.
Man, this is setting up to be a jet seed.
Man, more like a jet free. This is getting insane already, and I am loving. And there's bombos. We don't know which ones are required, but this may come into play for future reference.
So much value out of the village, and both of these runners are getting ready to do it. It'll be really interesting to see where the route diversion happens after this, see which direction they go.
And now we are seeing the mirror already! Oh my god! This isn't a complete and the lamp! 100 rupees, so there goes Bottle Vendor, and the Moon Pearl!
Moon Pearl!
This is already aiming to look like a Dark World run, and we don't even know where in the heck they can get access.
I'm waiting to see a map check to see what exactly happens. Now, they haven't found a ton of hearts, so in lieu of everyone getting all of these items early, we do not have a ton of health, so the runners are going to have to be very careful they don't take an inadvertent death.
Maligord getting the wall chicken. This is already turning out, from a strategic sense, to be an amazing seed. One with a lot of trolley options, especially since no one has a sword yet.
That's good. They have the hook shot, so they can at least survive in the overworld for a little bit. Oh, there's
And
our
there's a
first
map.
peak.
5 is in Tower of Hera, green pendant in vanilla location.
And then 7 down in desert. That with green in its vanilla location, I still might take the chance and dive in Eastern myself, but we'll see what Maligord and xirtanul decide to do on this.
Indeed, because we still have them going and continuing out the clear, both of them now clearly aware, speaking of the word clear, that the bug net is in the library. We're going to be seeing a very, very vanilla standard speedrun strat of seeing what is on the ledge and saving quitting right on into another area. It wouldn't surprise me if we went and saw the escape route, because that is an easy several other chests.
It is, and still no arrows for Maligord, but LT's going to head south Hyrule.
And xirtanul just discovers the bow. If they were worried about their adversary ever considering the vanilla typical strat of checking Lost Woods first, then they definitely may be worried about the time that they could have lost. Yep, and there's the save and quit, so let's see where they go now. Shield in the dam for the treasure chest. We have a map check for xirtanul.
Now, it's interesting because these two runners are basically mirroring each other, one checking the earliest parts. We're waiting to still see a route divergence to see exactly what happens and who's going to take the lead. Otherwise, they'll have the same items.
Indeed, which currently is a fantastic parallel. Only 10 arrows, which Maligord is choosing to pick up just to have some early ammo.
That's not a bad decision there, and we do have xirtanul. Looks like he's going to check Sahasrahla. And we'll see if he can pick up some arrows, see what he does afterwards. I'm really interested to see what he does.
Indeed, and we have Maligord going over to a different area, going to the Generous Guys, Thieves Mini... Oh my god, the gloves are over in Srirachalas. Shoutouts to Sriracha.
Everyone's favorite condiment cave.
And there we have a quick, or at least relatively quick, all circumstances considered, mini Meldorm cave clear. And let's see what they have inside. We have a Gamer Cal chest, 10 more arrows, a single heart container, 50 green rupees, and a blue rupee. Shoutouts to Gamer Cal.
Not really surprised not to see a lot of value in that. After all the value we saw in Kakariko, at that point, the percentage chances just start going down and down and down every time you find an item of value.
Indeed, which you may get excited at first, but then leaves you completely stumped trying to find anything else, say a couple of dungeons in. We already have people in chat wondering if the hammer will be on Sriracha. Not entirely impossible at this point. Here we have Maligord checking Ice Rod Cave.
There could be some value there. xirtanul's in Eastern, like I thought someone might. A green pendant and wait to that decision.
Honestly, even if they weren't going for the pendant, it is definitely worth the risk considering the potential for items in here alone. We have seen a lot of seeds where something important ended up in Eastern Palace well before anyone else checked it.
Looks like Maligord might be heading that direction as well.
That looks like it's going to be a very positive update towards what they are going for, because all they would need right now is the hammer, and they would be able to access pretty much any part of the Dark World, thus clarifying that Aghanim would not be required for the first tower.
And as a runner, the
hammer has been found already in Eastern Palace. The gamble pays off in staves.
Well, and it depends on what Maligord. If Maligord follows through, if he doesn't follow up and go into Eastern following xirtanul, it'll be real interesting to see when he goes back, because that is one of the most required items.
And Maligord saves and quits!
No!
Oh no! This is going to... They're already taking... Oh, I see what they are doing. They are taking the gamble and skipping that, at least for now, because they will definitely have to go back later.
Yep,
And
looks like he's
checking
going to
out
go to
areas of escape, as well as most likely Death Mountain at this point. Not unwise, however, as we know, the hammer being in Eastern Palace is a massive update.
He'll eventually have to go. The question just becomes, when is he going to run out of places? Because after you've left that place, you begin to question yourself only after there's lots of other places to run out of. He's got the hook shot. He can clear out all of Eastern Death Mountain. So it's going to be a while before he gets there. Now, if there's value over there, that'll be great. But it's going to be rough.
Meanwhile, xirtanul also using the clever tactic of getting hit by the blob of tentacles into the anti-fairies to not have to defeat everything and then have to dodge anti-fairies just to see what's in the normal big key chest. Maligord, in the meantime, with the lamp, decides to go and finish getting the chest in the escape sequence now that it is technically on the way for him. And a piece of heart. And a save quit, deciding to not go through the rest of escape, interestingly.
Well, I'm sure it's at this point in time, you don't want to necessarily back out. If you have to go into, you go in through the front, just because it ends up being a little bit quicker than having to go through all of those empty rooms in escape.
That would make sense.
xirtanul is going for the pendant in escape. I haven't kept track of items on his end, but it may be that the knights have an item and he's looking for it, plus that pendant from Sahasrahla, and he's right there. So some value there. We'll see the gamble.
At this point, with the amount of options, or items rather, that they've been given, it's not unwise to see if the gamble continues to pay off. It already has at least a little, and at least clearing this dungeon in the event of a, let's hope it doesn't happen, pendant seed. Or sorry, pedestal seed.
You know, I think at this point in time, with all the value that we've seen in the game so far, Chat really deserves a pedestal seed. We're going to see like Ice Rod.
Oh no, not Ice Rod. We just saw a race with a Fire Rod pendant seed. If this ended up being the Ice Rod, you could definitely say these two streams were a tale of fire and ice.
Boo!
Aha!
Boo!
I'll be here all week. Try the fish. The old man not providing a whole lot. However, we are seeing Maligord go for Eastside Death Mountain, taking the bet that it has some items of importance, which, as we know, is possible. However, it is not the hammer.
Just a few rupees from Sahasrahla.
Say, is it me, or did xirtanul not pick up the mirror?
I'm not seeing it on the tracker.
Oh, they did pick up the mirror, okay. False alarm, false alarm. Oof, that's a relief.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to our buddy Dude who's doing...
absolutely.
Tracking is not an easy thing to do, let me tell you.
Oh, absolutely. And especially since they just came from the previous race with a Fire Pedestal seed. Now that is hype.
Speaking of hype, we've got Hype Cave!
Oh, here we go. Now, as we've seen in a lot of these races, Hype Cave has been the disappointed Sun Cave. And what do we have? We have some bombs. We have Blue Mail, not a bad pickup, and I think we also saw Blue Mail on the pickup over in East Death Mountain Light World, meaning that both the runners are going to have early red mail. And here we're seeing the bomb skip, and they pull it off nicely.
You know what? I'm happy to see that from Maligord. You know, with a lot of questions, because he didn't have a Z-score coming into this, we didn't really know what to expect from him. Just being able to do that bomb jump tells me that he's been around the block a few times, and he's probably one of the more competent racers that we have here.
That is entirely possible. I'm actually not too familiar with Maligord and xirtanul. I remember from my first commentary but I don't remember seeing either of them play, and it's good to see that these runners are capable of doing things that, even when you start out early, are something that is absolutely essential at cutting down time.
Things like your bomb jumps that you'll see. I'm sure we'll see the spin speed and the hook shot speeds.
Indeed.
Of course, mirror block invisible things. Little things like that, differentiate the top runners from the decent runners. And so far, it looks like these guys are both top-notch so far.
Indeed we do, and we've seen a save and quit. It looks like up to Tower of Hera we go.
We don't have a Dark World map chest. I'm waiting, or map check. I'm waiting to see where our map check is.
That's going to be a very important thing to see, because we won't know whether or not certain items that are late game are required. If we have pendant dungeons over at both Misery Mire...
There's a sword!
Oh, wow. And sword confirmed over on Maligord's side.
With a bottle up on Spectacle Rock, so value for Maligord diving into Death Mountain.
Indeed. And we've seen with Xirtanul, Bombo's tablet actually just has 3 bombs. It seems like they wanted to go for the made-up knockoff. And here we are, first sword of the game over on Maligord's side within 17 minutes, technically a 16 and a half.
Still, we have to wonder, Maligord is finding a lot of value so far in Death Mountain, but he's got to dive back into Eastern at some point. When is he I mean, it's just a matter of time. This might push him off further from going into Eastern.
After a small check to the ledge, we're actually seeing Xirtanul go right into Desert Palace, making sure to take a look, for it's in a book reading Rainbow.
Take a look. It's in a book.
Reading Rainbow. I can go into the dark world.
Boo.
It's true, Maligord went into the dark world. Just as I started saying that. Why was I not going to take that timing?
Xirtanul going into desert. I always hesitate going in here without boots. And that might just be a personal hang-up.
This is an interesting play, seeing that, red goo in a bottle confirmed over on Ether Tablet.
Well, Xirtanul does, he got the big key, so just a little piece of love on the lamp, so gamble paid off there.
Indeed.
And we're diving into Hera now.
Which is going to be interesting. Ether Tablet seeming to be misplaced given the Indiana Jones treatment, while the goo bottle was replaced inside of the tablet.
Are you trying to say that the green bottle of goo was just the bag of rocks that Mr. Jones left there?
Just the red bottle of goo, actually.
Red bottle, I'm sorry.
Nonetheless, all facetiousness aside, we are seeing both dungeons being tackled, which would effectively mean we could see Maligord neglecting the rest of the possibility of Eastern Palace just to head into Desert, since they have the book already. And down they fall. Wow. That was, unfortunate.
That's rough.
It's definitely...
Xirtanul save and quits.
Finding apparently nothing immediate of use, despite having almost everything they need to take down Lamolus, should they choose.
I was going to say, would you have done that? Being able to take down Lamolus, knowing it's the important 5 crystal, would you have gone out, or would you have just cleared it out right there?
My judgment would have been to wait until the Fire Rod myself. Unless it started to get much further into the seed, then I would have tackled it in the event that I was getting trolled and Lamolus had the Fire Rod. Sorry, I almost call it the Fire Wand, and I'm like, no, it's not a wand, it's a rod. It's specific Same difference. Anyways.
Oh, you tell that to anyone who plays D&D, and they might smack you that a rod and a wand are the same thing.
You know, that's accurate, but I'm definitely seeing Legend of Zelda instead of D&D. They can argue with me all they want.
Xirtanul is diving into the other side of Escape, so this will be an interesting little run.
Indeed, we'll see if the other side of Escape does pay off in lieu with the rest of the early start of this race.
You know, I was really anxious to see where the route diversion was going to happen here, and these guys have gone into completely different dungeons from this point. And that's what happens when you have a lot of value early. A lot of different places open up, and it's just a matter of priority and routing that you do on the fly.
Exactly. And here we're seeing little of value popping up. However, that does not necessarily mean that little of value is going to continue popping up for xirtanul. They obviously have found the hammer, and they have more accessibility by nature than Maligord. Because after all, Maligord, after this, still has to find the hammer.
Oh, and Trolldorm knocks Maligord down.
Strike 2 of Trolldorm. The trolling, I guess.
Trolldorm turn 2, the trolling.
Ooh, troll harder with a vengeance.
The troll strikes back.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Now we're going to see the one chest in the sewer sequence. Fortunately, with the... Oh no, Maligord fell through the middle, and my, how the mighty have fallen. Down
That's
to
gonna hurt. I'm gonna make a prediction right now. I think Maligord, because he's already gone into Eastern, he's gonna dive into this relatively low value escape front end before he goes back into Eastern. Just because you don't want to repeat the same place, which is going to be unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because they technically haven't even gone into Eastern, just Sarashula. But by those standards, they might consider the fact that they've already been to one place and don't want to take the risk until it's too late. We're seeing a save and quit after finding nothing of value. And behold the burrito in the sanctuary. I hope everyone was ready for lunch.
Is that really the first time Xirtanul's been to the sanctuary?
I think so, actually, because they started off at the house and they went downward.
That's right, that's right. Looks like he's going into the back half of Eastern, and Maligord's trying not to get trolled even harder.
Oh, what was that? Did you just see that on Maligord? They literally went...
He came real close to a death there.
Immediately backed into the wall, and then the game corrected itself to have Maligord fall down. It was like seeing a bouncy ball of absolute terror.
My breath stops whenever I see something like that, because I'm worried that there's going to be a death glitch in there somewhere, and you'd start back at the beginning of the dungeon.
Oh, that would be terrible.
And see if he had the hammer. If he had the hammer, it'd be 2 hits.
3 swipes of a hammer, and suddenly Trolldorm no more. And once again, Maligord must have found out it was lunchtime because they just got Chipotle'd. An attempt at a tree pull, only to not happen. And here we see a bomb pickup, if you will, from the crab.
You know, it's really lucky seeing crabs with bombs, just because you need them so much that early game.
Absolutely. We have Maligord dropping over into the house now, and we're going to find out where they go next. And it appears they are going, indeed, as you called it, into the escape sequence.
This is going to be a bad call for Maligord. He knows, and I know in the back of his mind, he's thinking, I had a long shot at that Trolldorm. I need to make up some time. Yep. This is not going to be the way to make it up, though, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Oh, we never saw the uncle pick up, and it's a
sword!
The uncle had vanilla progressive sword. What are the odds? And the 10 arrows. Less hype.
It's a little bit of value that xirtanul probably won't be going back for because he has so much unlocked for him. So that's a little bit of value there for Maligord. I don't know if it's going to be enough for him to make up time with Hammer, though.
We don't know. However, in the late game, if they end up getting so far as to Ganon without arrows, it is literally a difference of about 24 swipes. Wait, no, that would be 12 if we're going on the difference between Butter Sword and Tempered Sword.
Yep, it's pretty quick, and we're seeing xirtanul going up through Death Mountain now. Since both of these racers are kind of covering tracks that we've already seen, let's go ahead and give a shout out. Chat, if you can, go ahead and follow Maligord, follow xirtanul. Both of these racers deserve your follows. They're having great races right now.
Absolutely, and if you're playing the home game on either Twitch or YouTube, make sure you go over to twitch.tv and find all of the Randomizer channels. Not only Speed Gaming 2, and the countless other channels in there, but also Randomizer Mania, where many of these primary and secondary tournaments are taking place.
What's the speedrunner's favorite ice cream flavor? Vanilla.
Vanilla. Oh. Personally, my favorite flavor is free. How I like my seeds. Although I have to say that was a that was a good pun.
Well done there, Asheria.
Well done indeed. Dude's favorite is Jet. We're now getting questions like, how many runners does it take to screw in a light bulb? My answer is time.
Yep. So, let's see, we're going back and forth. Xirtanul is going into that highly coveted. We'll see if Trolldorm gives Xirtanul as much trouble. He's feisty today, isn't he?
He is. Oh, he is not taking any prisoners.
Maligord looks like they're going down into, to desert now. Has Maligord gone Dark World at all?
No, not at all. Maligord has no access to the Dark World as we speak of, because they do not have a hammer to knock down any pegs to get into the Dark World.
So Maligord right now is going through trying to find where that Dark World access is going to be. You know, maybe before too long.
Climb. It's going to be a steep climb from this lack of time until they go into Eastern Palace. Oh, wait a minute. We have not seen... Oh, we get a misfire on a bomb in Agana's cave. And, behold, it is a piece of heart.
Yeah, Xirtanul checked that a little bit earlier, I believe.
I must have missed it.
So let's see. Let's already start counting down. I mean, we're about halfway to go mode at this point in time. We still don't have Titansmith boots, fire or ice rod, but we don't know what's required or not yet there.
Indeed.
And
we also don't have the Canis of Maria. We have not seen the cape, whether or not the cape Bonk Rock or the Butler
And
cape
he
is
fell!
required.
Xirtanul fell.
Xirtanul. Oops.
Xirtanul. Okay.
I kept hearing you say Zeratul, and I thought StarCraft, and I was like, oh, I haven't played that in ages. But no, it's Xirtanul.
Right now, the winner of this seed is Trolldorm. I mean, hats off to our other competitors, but Trolldorm wins so far.
Oh, and the middle! Once again, how the mighty have fallen down to the 4th floor.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Trolldorm's out there.
Oh, well played. Well played. Now we are seeing another clear. It is possible at this point that Maligord has shrugged off the idea of the pendant dungeon and might go to Aga 1. Oh my goodness, xirtanul being knocked off once again.
There's going to be some commentary later about how difficult Trolldorm has been on these competitors. This is just absolutely amazing. This is two falls for xirtanul.
Who knew Link enjoyed parkour so much? Oh no! Oh,
that was close.
Near fall again. Oh, that would have hurt. That would have hurt from the inside and possibly the outside.
And xirtanul says, "Forget it. No more hammer strats. I'm sticking with the sword."
Staying with the safety of the sword, which, as you may know, if you hold out the sword, it allows you to stay on the ledge. Mostly, unless you get super knocked out of the way.
So now, xirtanul and Maligord tied for crystals. We're still not seeing Maligord go back to Eastern to get that hammer, so we're just counting down the time there. But, all the value from this point on is going to be in the Dark World, and it looks like xirtanul is going to go ahead and hit East Death Mountain while he's here, because he has the hammer.
It's a good strategy to have, especially since one of them can actually access... Oh wait, no, never mind, I take that back. We have not seen a Golden Glove. We can't see Eastern Side Death Mountain Dark World.
At this point, though, you have two of the pendants. You've got to be confident that you can get into at least one of Turtle Rock and Misery Mire. At least the odds are.
That is very true. If both of them are required, as we now know. However, it wouldn't surprise me that the seed decides to have the plot twist where Quake is in a very difficult to find spot.
Quake pedestal hype, maybe?
Ooh, that'd be rude. Quake required for Crystal Turtle Rock, but is in Pendant Dungeon, or is a pedestal item. Ooh, I'm feeling gross just thinking of that.
You may feel gross, but I'm sure our chat's gonna be hyped for that.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. We're all sadists when it's somebody else.
These runners had a jet seed early, so let's give them a little bit of troll going in.
Oh, I too would like to see a little bit of a plot twist in here. I just don't know if I would go that rude. However, I would go that rude of all of that being required. However, an item to finish. Oh, well, we've seen all 3 dungeons completed, so I can't say that. Never mind. Oh, wait, no. I am thinking Light World dungeons and not Pendant dungeons, because my brain just went to vanilla.
With Sword being vanilla, I don't blame you.
Yep, definitely understandable. I would like to see... You know what? I'd like to see... Ooh. Nope, that wouldn't work, that wouldn't work, that wouldn't work. Okay, hear me out. While we're watching this fight, we finally have xirtanul actually returning to the Dark World before I go into anything else, because realistically, this is going to be a good time to see when we get a map, because I can no longer wait to see when we get the hypotheticals taken care of. But yeah, Flipper pedestal locked.
Maligord takes it down.
Maligord gets taken down by Landmolus, and in the same time, we just missed our map check. Oh no!
I saw Blue Pendant at Skullwoods.
Okay.
I did see that. So.
Okay. Now we're going to be seeing Palace of Darkness. Skull Thieves are pendants. Okay, so we have Skull Woods, and Thieves Town as pendants. 5, as we found out, was Tower of Hera. Number 6, however, we do not have information.
Ooh,
almost a free pedestal after Fire Rock.
How's this? 6 Turtle Rock with flippers at Fat Fairy?
With ice rock. Oh no, that wouldn't work. What I was gonna add on to
We're
that
just
would
streaming now.
Yeah, we've had a lot of items that we can't hypothesize.
But that's what happens with these jet seeds early when everything opens up to you in the world. This makes for a really exciting game to watch and to commentate. This is exciting, I'm sure, for both of us, and it's exciting for the chat.
We're seeing some bow and arrow strats instead of taking the risk with just the Master Sword. Not bad if you want some range.
So here's the question for chat. As xirtanul is going through pod, the question for chat here, I want to know, what do you guys hope is in pedestal? Because you guys are sadists just like the rest of us. What do you want in pedestal?
And lunchtime once again for Maligord, as the crystal is found, and now we are going to see what the answer to the question of what they do next is going to be. Are they going to take the risk of going into Eastern Palace, which we know is a good risk to take? Or are they going to take an even bigger risk in Aghanim 1, which, as we know, mistakes would be made?
He's going to the house.
Yep, that is
right or left
for either
right
side.
Or left.
Right or up, actually. Oh no, they are
going up.
Oh no. Oh, you hate to see this, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, and you know, I can't fault him. I have a hard time faulting him, because if you know, there's some confirmation bias that goes into these sorts of things. If Eastern hasn't held value for you in some other seeds, you hesitate to go back into those, and that happens for any dungeon. You just sometimes got to get over it and realize that Eastern has, what is it, 3 possible items. You just need to dive in there. This is a better value right now than Aghanim.
Sometimes it takes that bit of risk, and there have been many times in which we have seen, well, really good items from Armos Knights. I remember one time when I saw racers with the need for Misery Mire, and they had everything except the flute. Meanwhile, Armos Knights, which were a pendant dungeon, dropped the flute. We're seeing flippers leading to Medallion for pedestal hype, Cave of Samaria pedestal hype. Both of these technically possible.
I remember to see Time Stalker. I remember to see where it was a pedestal shovel leading to required Quake. That's mean.
Oof. Quake required for Turtle Rock. Oh, now that would be, first of all, well played for using my hypothesis. Second, it would be super rude.
It's super rude to our runners, but it's perfectly acceptable to us.
Meanwhile, we are seeing the maze being taken care of. As we have noticed, there hasn't been too many upgrades for items aside from, say, bomb and arrow upgrades and the occasional piece of heart. But what's in the big chest? And it's a burrito.
Not a lot of value so much in what should be a loaded pod, but that's perfectly fine because it is a crystal dungeon. You might as well clear it out anyway. Go mode through pod is not that much faster than clearing out anything.
I will say for sure though, if you had to have anything that popped up within that maze, having another dungeon item to get out of the way while you still have 3-4 chests and the boss is a very nice feeling. More nice, however, is being able to do this with the lantern.
I agree.
And there were the flippers! And a piece of heart. But that just gave full hearts, which is always a very convenient moment. Meanwhile, we see through Aga 1, Maligord is taking care of this like a champ.
Flippers is going to be big because now...
We're seeing an interesting avoiding of turtles before remembering, oh yes, I have the hammer, which I found in the Light World version of this palace. And there is the key. And we are seeing the boots! What are those?
And just like that, no value pod turns into great value for your feet.
Exactly. It's very much like the Walmart of dungeons. No value until one thing has great value.
That was an incredibly clever trick that I've not seen before, and I'm totally stealing from xirtanul. When those guys are swarming and you're trying to jump down, just throw a bomb over them, knock them off the edge.
That is actually very clever. I never would have imagined using that tactic. Because I've seen a lot of tactics. But I never would have thought of, oh yeah, let's just use the explosion from a bomb placement to knock them off the cliff.
No, that's a great job.
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
Asheria is being our comedian in chat. We have Darkness Shoe Source. Instead of Payless Shoe Source, Darkness Shoe Source.
That was Sports Hefe.
That was Sports Hefe?
That was.
Oh, sorry.
And Agawana has been defeated. Let's see what is on the pyramid.
You know, if it's something of high value over there, this might help Maligord, but we're still waiting on that.
We're about to see if the price for Aghanim was right. And boom, 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 boom. Oh, a piece of heart.
Turtle was giving xirtanul a little bit of trouble, but he's getting through it.
Unfortunately, he was able to make Hammer Time take care of that.
Very nice Price is Right reference there with the sound effects.
Thank you. I figured it would be a lot easier to not try to ham-hock a soundboard into something. Meanwhile, we now have King Helmasaur after making quick moves out of that little hallway leading up to the king.
And there's the map check, and it looks like 6 is. Helmasaur is 6.
Wow. If a required item is with the Great Fairy in the pyramid, we might have accidentally just seen a very interesting play by both of these runners.
Maligord right now looks like he's going to be taking the risk that we have a vanilla hammer, which we'll see if that turns out to be. He'll get boots and flippers. Maybe, yeah. He'll get boots and flippers, but that's it. He's not going to get hammer. He's not going to be able to clear this.
I wouldn't be surprised if Maligord decided afterwards, since they were here, to. Oh my god, they are checking Eastern before going into Palace of Darkness. This is where, even though time was lost, things now start picking up. And of course, when Maligord picks up that hammer, they are going to be low-key, probably medium-key furious.
Well, and now he's got to be thinking in the back of his head, he had a hard troll dorm, which xirtanul had a hard troll dorm too, but he doesn't know that. But he had a rough troll dorm, and it took him a long time to get that hammer. So he's got to be thinking he's behind. We're going to see probably some more risky strats out of Maligord after this, hoping to make up time.
And here we are seeing an attempted spin speed not working out in their favor for xirtanul. And once again, the price is still not correct. However, this time it did not hurt as bad. And here we have the Master Key, which will lead to not too much of importance, but enough of importance, because they will continue through this dungeon and then find the hammer and most likely peace out soon afterwards. Speaking of completing dungeons, I know xirtanul completed Eastern Palace. Did we ever see xirtanul go back to Sriracha?
Yeah, Sriracha had just a little bit of rupees. He was tipping Link for his work.
That is unfortunate.
xirtanul's going and checking Catfish here.
And there, the hammer has finally been found, and Maligord is going through and checking the other chest we finally have a chance of seeing some catch-up being made, because at this point, xirtanul has not gone to the other side of Death Mountain. We may still see some time being caught up.
He hasn't, but he's also got a crystal that xirtanul doesn't have in Desert Palace. Now, we don't know if he's going to try to route that. Kane!
It's gotta be Kane! My God, it's gotta be Kane! Shoutouts to Phantom Rio. I can never do that nearly as good as him.
You know what? It's all right.
Well, it totally is. Not everyone can be Phantom Rio with that stellar impression.
Not seeing a lot of. We're finally getting a Zora check though from xirtanul. I was waiting when we were going to see that. Just a little love up on the cliff, but.
And let's see, are we getting a little love? Spending? Are we getting a lesson in capitalism? Are we getting... Oh, it is not even a full love, it is a little bit of love.
And xirtanul
just turns it down. Like a Valentine from someone you never would have wanted it from in the first place.
Everyone's love is valid, Glenta. Everyone's love is valid.
Of course. That's why... You know what? That's not a family-friendly comment. I'm gonna keep that one to myself. Meanwhile, back in the Dark World, we see that Catfish had indeed catfished xirtanul. We do also see that we are finally approaching Dark Palace after clearing out all the valuable chests in Eastern Palace.
Move here, you have everything required. You might it's that value 6, which will unlock the Fat Fairy.
That would be an interesting play to go to right now, since both of them have the crystals to check that out on the pyramid. However, as we've seen, xirtanul is going straight over to Steve's Town. Nope, I'm kidding. They're going straight to King's Tomb, angering the B-Torb. You never anger the B-Torb. Double check and a panic if they had the mirror.
A lot of value to be had in this route. 50 rupees.
50 rupees? Well, I mean, after spending 500 on getting a tiny piece of heart, I gotta say that's not a bad idea. And here we see the cave behind, where we're most likely going to see some arrows or some rupees or a bomb, and it's going to be the typical. However, now that I've said that, watch there be an important item all along.
Meanwhile, Maligord's making his way nice and quickly through.
It was rupees. Once again, Graveyard Cave proving to be pretty useless. Maligord going in, as you were about to say, sorry to cut you off. A different strat for covering every chest possible in Palace of Darkness, hoping for some sweet, sweet items.
He'll find the value, it'll just take a little bit of time to get there.
Indeed, and we have a Bonk Rock check. Inside the Bonk Rock, we have the Quake Medallion! Well, there goes the pedestal dream for Quake Medallion.
The dream is dead, but...
Remember, we still have Fire Rod. The dream is still technically there.
We have Fire Rod, we have Ice Rod, because Turtle Rock is required.
Oh,
and Flute's required, yeah.
So this is still technically anybody's troll.
Going up to Skull Woods, this is an interesting play from xirtanul. It's not a required dungeon, it's not going to get you anything extra, and it's only 2 items, so maybe you hope to get it quick and get out.
It is entirely possible they are going on the confirmation bias of Swamp Palace holding a lot of valuable items in this version of the logic. To be fair, this is not a bad assumption because by many stances, that has been pretty accurate. while not 100% accurate. And oh my god, there you have it, the flute. Doot doot, hope you had many calciums, because we have the flute.
And xirtanul's not going to go right back. He may take a route back once he gets to once he gets into Thieves Town. Take a route back to get that flute activated.
Maligord now just also picking up their lesson in fashion, because what are those? We're now seeing xirtanul also hop right over into the next chest in Swamp Palace, not leaving any chest behind.
Still, it's not Swamp Palace. Burrito.
Thank you. I keep doing that so often, mixing up those two, for no reason, because one's literally a swamp and the other is literally woods.
Well, it's you know, on every tracker you see, you know, SW or SP. So I do it all the time. I think I did it on the tracker yesterday.
Oh, it looks like we're getting a pedestal check.
Pedestal hype.
Getting a pedestal check, yo, let's go. Oh, well, hold on, remix.
Let's see it. What are we betting that's going to be in pedestal? Come on.
At this point, it's anyone's game, and it could be anyone's pedestal nightmare. Couch cash confirmed. Here we have xirtanul, and yep, xirtanul is deciding, nope, bump this, I am out of here. Oh, sorry, had a little bit of a hiccup on my end. Here we have xirtanul going and checking the C-shaped house in Thieves Town, or sorry, in the Village of Outcast, only to get a little bit of love. And they are popping into the light world, and I hope you were all standing and making sure to salute for the anthem of Swag Duck. I know there are lyrics to Swag Duck's anthem, I don't know them, nor do I want to sing them. And here we go, Swag Duck confirmed. Let's see where xirtanul goes next. Oh, they're going to cash in on the bottle to see what Sick Kid has. And we have 3 bombs. The pyromaniac, stuck in bed, decides to leave it over to Link's hands. And it seems that Maligord is having some issues. We'll hopefully get them back soon. Oh, thankfully, we are now there and Maligord is back and confirmed has killed King Helmasaur. That is a relief. xirtanul going and finding something, admittedly, in the Bumble Hut. Unfortunately, I was making sure that people were still alive in IRC. And over in the game, we have the blue cane. We got the strawberry cane, and now we have the cool peppermint ice cane. Oh wait, no, that should be the ice rod. This is going to be, cane of Brian. Everyone say hi to Brian, everybody. We have a check for items in Thieves Town. We have 3 bombs. We are going to see what the second one is while Maligord is going and escaping from the Palace of Darkness. We now have the magic powder, which is going to be great for the Case of Fetch quest.
Hello, am I back?
You are back. Welcome back.
That was a massive lag spike.
I'm glad to see it wasn't just me.
Yeah, I had to close down our Twitch stream. I'll reopen it here once things stabilize a little bit.
No worries. To clue you in, we are currently seeing Thieves Town, and that is a big key in the third of 4 chests in the beginning of Thieves Town. And they are planning to use the mirror and piece right on out. And the single arrow xirtanul can now be considered to go in go mode. Okay, I can't even say that with a straight face.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, that arrow is required. It's the one arrow that you use to shoot Ganon between the eyes.
Exactly. It's the final arrow you use to beat Ganon canonically. And there we have Samus going into, oh my god, what armor is that? Can someone confirm with me that knows their Metroid? Meanwhile, we are seeing a check for the Magic Bat.
Not a bad check when you're already right here.
Absolutely. And we're going to see a double-chested fairy check. Excellent. Magic Bat holds a single heart container. Meanwhile, Maligord, now that they have completed... Oh, they forgot they could bring this up the quick way, and they are going the long way still, despite tackling Aghanim 1. Perhaps
a lot of people aren't familiar with those save quit strategies that you can do. For example, you can do that with dwarfs in the Dark World if you don't have the mirror anymore, and you can do that with the bomb now too.
You can do that with the bomb now?
Thought so.
I thought you just mirrored. I know you could do that with the blacksmith. I know you could do that with the purple chest, but I never realized you could do that with the bomb as well.
I think so. You know what? I thought I saw it the other day, but I might be wrong. We'll just say I'm wrong.
Well, either way, we have 320 rupees. And to be fair, with the amount of seeds we've all watched, it is possible you are right and I didn't notice it, or that you had them mixed up. So either way, I'm going to shrug and say, let's find out later. And
Fire Rod!
Wow! Fire Rod! I hope you all are all ready to see the mixtape Rod of Destiny. My goodness, this seed has been just pumping out items left and right.
An hour for this seed, and we are, what, one item away from go mode already.
Yes, the strawberry stick has been found, as been pointed out in chat. And now we're going to see a visit from Old Stumpy while we see Maligord get catfished by the catfish, and it is a sword upgrade. That is massive. If Maligord gets back there, that is a free tempered sword upgrade. That is equally important, because if they don't find the silver arrows, that may make all of the difference. Now we're going to see a jump right over into Swamp Palace. I almost called it Spiral Cave. I think I need a sip of my coffee. We confirmed, just saw there wasn't too much in the waterfall, and now that the dam has been opened, we are going to find out where was Maligord's Master Sword. Maligord's first sword was at the uncle, indeed. Seeing this is now known with progressive items in version 26, you are going to find progressive items, so that one then became the Master Sword on top of Death Mountain. And a little bit of love given out to Maligord as well. Once again, the worst Valentine. A quick save and quit. And now, we're going to see some hammer strats. Oh, whoa, nope, we're going to see a dash into the cave. We're going to find out what is at the second chest. It is a single heart container. A lot of love given out to the seed, both with items and heart containers. And a hammer dash almost through the bombs. Or skulls, to receive the key and possibly a bomb or two on the way. Maligord heading over to, I assume, what's going to be Dark World Kakariko to not only check out what the 4 chests in Stevestown are going to be, but the rest of that clear, minus what you are required to have by the Golden Glove, which would be to save Senior Frog and bring him back to becoming the Breadsmith. Now that we have xirtanul going through, there is the first floodgate opened. Oh, what is this?
I think I've actually...
Are we seeing a long way through? Are they checking pedestal? This is quite the interesting way to go for pedestal.
But he's kind of taking the long way around, isn't he?
I think so. I know since they hadn't checked the pedestal, it is a worthy check, all things considered.
Interesting. I'm trying to follow Maligord's logic here in terms of what happens next.
You know, at this point, Maligord most likely will go into the Dark World, since that seems to be where they are attempting to head. And with that, they will go into bypassing the left side, if I saw that correctly?
Yep, but xirtanul just pulled value. He got the Titan's Mitt.
Oh wow, that is a huge update, because that means they also have the chance of finding items at the Dark World version of Eastside Death Mountain. If Fire Rod happens to be in if Ice Rod happens to be in Hookshot Cave, then we may not have to see Left Side Swamp Palace.
That'd be a risk. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. But xirtanul's already ahead. He has some time to play with here.
He does, although I imagine they don't know it yet.
That's one of the interesting things. When you're in the lead in here, you never know it. But when you're behind, you definitely feel it.
Oh, absolutely. It all comes down to things where you realize you've made a mistake. For instance, don't go into Turtle Rock if it's not required.
That's never a mistake. That's always just hype there.
Oh, well, you could say that. Meanwhile, Sick Kid going to give out their bombs, proving double Pyromaniac, and we are going to see Argus being fought with Master Sword strats, which means that is 2 swipes per little puff cloud.
2 swipes is tough, but it's better than going in there with just Fighter Sword.
I agree, although it is fun to constantly mess around with your menu to switch between the hammer and hookshot.
I remember one of my first early seeds having Fighter Sword and going through here, and I just noped out.
I do not blame you. And quickly out of Thieves Town we go, not even going to the digging game, but checking the bumper cave to see if there's anything important on there. I do not remember seeing what was on here with xirtanul, so this is going to be a good... Oh, it's 20 rupees.
Not checking digging game, that's going to be a mistake, because then you found value there.
Indeed we did. And on top of that, also not going to see Old Stumpy will prove to be a little detrimental. However, maybe they're checking, yes, they are checking more of the overworld before going further into South Kakariko. Unfortunately, that is not necessarily the play. However, we are finding out. Well, actually, there is Quake. I did forget Quake was right there. So it may be the play, depending on what is required for both Misery Mire and for Turtle Rock. Until we have proof.
I think this is a play for Maligord, because he knows that he's a little bit behind. So he's going into these where there's fewer chests, trying to catch up and play value, because if he finds 2 or 3 items in these northern Hyrule routes, he's making up time instead of wasting his time going to the southern route. The problem is he doesn't know the value that's in southern.
Indeed. And speaking of southern routes, we've just seen the Tempered Sword upgrade, the last sword upgrade indeed, and 300 rupees found in Misery Mire left side shed. Which means this will be literally a fight between Carrot Sword and Butter Sword should Maligord go and pick up the rest of the sword upgrades.
Well, and it's a pretty big difference between butter versus tempered and tempered versus master sword. So that's good news for xirtanul, maintaining his lead there.
Absolutely. The carrot sword is definitely important. Make sure to eat your vegetables, kids. And now we're seeing in chat, validation silver hype. That would be impressive.
Silver's in the validation chest. That'd be rough.
xirtanul finally going in with the fire rod to take care of what seems to be the Landmolus, which is a nice call. Although, maybe, no, that's routing consideration. That is pretty good, because then they could jump immediately into Misery Mire, because they have everything required for Misery Mire.
Yep, saves him a little bit of time, meaning he didn't come in here earlier when Maligord was in here, but he can route Desert Palace in with Misery Mire together. And since they're so out of the way, routing these two together saves a lot of time if you can do it.
Absolutely. Maligord finally going over to the digging game and finding out that you don't need a Metroidvania to find a good mixtape. Well, apparently you have to dig around to find the mixtape, but still. We have xirtanul going through and clearing out most of the dungeon quick, saving as much magic as possible for the Landmolus fight, and there we go, mixtape rod has been found.
That's so hot.
Oh, we had two taken down, but one Landmolus has been... Well, now they've been vanquished, so we have a nice 2-cycle. No, we just got a bonk onto a hidden skull rock. xirtanul has picked up the Desert Palace Crystal, and in the chest with the, well, it's got 20 rupees. It seems like Maligord is finally going towards where Old Stumpy will be, which will be nice for them to pick up the 3rd sword upgrade. Because as we know, once they check Misery Mire, this will give them the advantage of a stronger sword. Even though it does not seem to be much for the remaining bosses, it still may come in handy.
There's enough bosses that are left that you can make up quite a bit of difference between the butter sword and the tempered sword. Not as much if xirtanul still had the master sword, that being said, but there's still a lot of time that can be made up with how early our runners have found these items.
Now we're seeing Swamp Palace going in. Doing this with a tempered sword is a lot quicker than dealing with it with Master Sword. This may help Maligord go in and conquer that entire palace a little much quicker. They'll also be delighted to see that they finally get the Titan's mitts.
We are still just an ice rod from go mode, but there's still a lot of room for places for xirtanul to be searching. He's got all of Misery Mire, he's got all of Ice Palace, not to mention actually diving into Turtle Rock early. I don't think we're going to see an early Turtle Rock dive, even though it's entirely possible it's there too.
That is very true. We are currently seeing a check for the long chest, or the long bridge chest, and it is simply the compass. We're seeing Maligord go through, Maligord having the one disadvantage of not checking Swamp Palace at all to find the flute, which as we know is required. Seeing a quick magic pickup, and we are seeing what is in this chest. It is another key, very convenient. At this point, it looks like they're going to go to the bottom left door in Misery Mire to unlock that, hit the switch, go check the other chest, and possibly defeat the jellyfish in that room to get the next key. Yep, there we are.
Kind of standard routing here, but you'd expect that in Misery Mire when you're still not quite in go mode yet.
Indeed.
But we'll see him turn it on as soon as he gets that ice rod, wherever it is.
Absolutely, because nothing's worse than going into go mode a little too early only to find out you missed it in another dungeon that you've already cleared. Using some quick fire rod strats. We're going to see, is it in the compass room? No, but half
Half
magic
magic.
is, which is super convenient when you don't have silver arrows.
It's a nice magic refill there too, so we won't have to waste time picking up the pot here, but that's fine.
And now we have the possibly longest shaking cutscene in the game.
Everyone, go refill your coffee, your drinks right now while we're waiting.
Make sure to read a, book, a short book like War and Peace, because you'll be done with it before this one ends up happening. No, never mind. Just as soon as I said it ends up happening, it finished. We're hearing about missing the occasional quarter magic over in the chat. However, I will mention that in this version, it may have been taken out of normal and hard and I believe expert mode. However, you can still find quarter magic in easy mode. So if you wanted to have a mindless run of this, or perhaps needed to practice on something a little easier, you still can find quarter magic. We're now going to see Maligord double check the left side. You never know what could be in here.
Wouldn't that be something if Ice Rod is in left side?
If Ice Rod was in left side or silver arrows, that could make a world of difference.
I didn't count chests when xirtanul was over here, but it's entirely possible.
Because they didn't get the Master Key, so they didn't get the big chest either. That's 3 possible items that they could be missing. Oh wait, no, they have to have the Master Key because Argus requires the Master Key. So they had the Master Key.
No, I don't think Argus does require the Master Key.
No, you're right. You're right, it doesn't. You just needed the small key. That's why it's a key lock. I forgot it was not the big key. It is a small key lock.
Yep. Let's see, Argus, and there's one other dungeon that doesn't require.
Interesting that Maligord decided to go all the way up instead of using the hook shot to go over, but nonetheless, it is still an effective strategy. And here we have the compass. Ooh.
Well, I mean, we still get to see what's in the big chest, so there's possible value there.
That is true. We're going to find out very quickly if this paid off, or if it was another bit of time that Maligord is going to need to catch up if they want to keep further competing in this specific race. And we have the burrito. Unfortunately, it appears xirtanul did keep count. And we have a current sword strat coming on from xirtanul at Vitreous, dodging the lightning lasers, taking some damage to make sure to get those last little eyeballs. Oh, getting zapped by the lasers again. Making sure to dodge that one. Taking a lot of damage in the process when they could have risked the lag time with Kane O'Brien.
Making quick work of him either way.
Indeed.
So what play does he make next? Ice Palace, now that he has the Titan's Mitt?
He has the Titan's Mitt, he has the flippers, he has the hammer, he has the ice rod. It would be surprising if I didn't see xirtanul go from here, perhaps to the Witch's Hut to buy some potions. Wait, yeah, no, he does have at least one potion, even if it has a bee in it. And then go immediately to Ice Palace. There would be no sense in going to Turtle Rock right now. Nope. They said forget the safeties, it is time to check the one ice cave and then go into Ice Palace.
Good move here, routing in the ice cave. Usually I don't find a whole lot of value here, but because you can get it so early, literally anything can be in this cave. So routing this in with going to Ice Palace, generally a good idea.
Absolutely. Maligord making quicker work of Argus with the hookshot and the tempered sword, making it only one swipe per little puff. Oh, and as we're seeing, Maligord caught Argus in the middle of the spin cycle start, meaning that they had to wait for the cycle time to complete before we saw the next phase of Argus. Here we have confirmation that Lake Hylia Rock had just 20 rupees, xirtanul going up and most likely getting an arrow bomb upgrade or perhaps a small piece of heart from the hobo under the bridge. It looks like xirtanul's about to pay the troll toll.
I don't think we saw Maligord check hobo earlier, so this is our first hobo check.
Indeed it is. And survey says 3 bombs! Oh, the troll toll has been paid.
Not only is a hobo, he's a terrorist with explosives under the bridge.
Ooh. While not wrong, ooh. Scary thought.
Too soon, maybe?
Maybe. We can let it slide though, most definitely. It wasn't too bad. It was just a little rough on the edges.
It's interesting to see that between Maligord and xirtanul, we didn't see fake flippers. We haven't seen a whole lot of spin speed from them. We've only seen one bomb jump or so. They're not using a ton of the minor glitches that are approved for these races, but still making excellent time despite it.
Absolutely. This is an hour and 15 into a jet seed like this is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, and they're both in Ice Palace. We're gonna get some highlights here, maybe.
We are seeing the route go from diverging right into each other. However, Maligord is still one route a little too early, hoping Ice Palace has the flute, which, as we know, is not there.
This might be an instance of wanting to do whatever you can to avoid going into these pendant dungeons, but in this version of the logic, oftentimes you're going to get the pendant dungeons with a lot of the value that locks some things away.
Because why make it convenient when they can make sure to troll you in the process? I've said it once, I'll say it again. I know Christos was playing a lot of Hell Randomizer and Kaizomizer recently, but I didn't expect it to pay off in such a way in version 26 in the logic. That said, I'm actually not complaining. It is very fun.
Anything that makes for a more entertaining race for us, I'm completely approve of.
Absolutely. And sometimes these trolls are very difficult. However, we are confirmed to see xirtanul pull off the bomb jump. Oh, almost when they catch it. Oh, and there we are. And we are, a little too low, or too tall, or too high, rather, words. We're seeing Maligord now get the double Stalfos, while xirtanul pulls off the bomb jump indeed. Barely missing the fire, what do you want to call those? The line of fire, if you will?
Firebar. Yep.
Firebar, that works. And Maligord, knowing nothing about what is in here, is going and saying, I need to full clear this palace. This is going to be a decent amount of time just for a bad stroke of luck.
Well, and it's indicative of what happens where just one small decision early in the race, like not checking certain things that are pedestal dungeons, snowball, and they make you make larger decisions later and later down the tournament.
Ooh, a very nice walking strat from xirtanul. Just making sure to slowly, smoothly move away from those spikes. Not taking a single hit of damage all the way through. And now we're going to see Maligord go and see what the 2 blue dudes had in the chest, and it was an arrow upgrade. xirtanul going over for the chest with the 2 Stalfos, and it is a piece of heart making sure to fill up the hearts in the process. Going and checking the next chest up in the room above, and it is the big key. We now have the big key and can check the big chest should xirtanul decide to check it.
I have no doubt that xirtanul is just going to backtrack up here. He's going to hop over, get that chest, and then swing over and get the big chest, and that'll be just about it for him.
We have 2 more keys, and now xirtanul is running around checking that chest and the 2 blue dude chest, of course. Ooh, dashing right on top of it, unfortunately not catching it in time. However, that was still fun to watch. And they are skipping the big chest. I assume they've been counting how many items they've been picking up. To be fair, I don't remember seeing the burrito. I've only seen the compass. And if that's the case, we may be seeing an item with cold stare instead. Or perhaps they are taking the gamble. No, 2 dungeon items left. Since those are the 2 chests left, we can confirm that both cold stare and the big chest had dungeon items.
That's a huge risk then by xirtanul, especially with only needing ice rod. If it's not here at cold stare, he's going to have to double dip back into it. We'll see that. But he's having a great cold stare fight, though.
We wouldn't have to double dip into it. Oh my goodness, this cold stare fight. Whoa. It's almost therapeutic after getting bodied by it yesterday. And there we are, there is one of them. But if you were to check, notice the map, or no, notice his menu before going down as he pulled out the hammer. He was actually missing 2 dungeon items, much like how Maligord is missing 2 dungeon items right now. Since those were the 2 chests left, he does not have to come back into Ice Palace.
So he had the map and he had the compass, but he didn't get the big chest. Oh, so the big chest contained a key?
Yep. I was incorrect. I did not see the compass get pulled. That must have been a previous dungeon. And lo and behold, since the second dungeon item we picked up was from Cold Stare, and the only thing left was the big chest, we can confirm that there are no more items left in Ice Palace. Maligord unfortunately getting some bad luck with both times the bomb jump, or the Stalfos bomb placement has been attempted.
And we're seeing xirtanul looks like he's going to do a southern high roll route. Surprised that I remember seeing, okay, Frog.
Buenos dias, Senor Frog. Wow, that was a bad accent too. We are going to see the frog turn into the breadsmith and what that entails.
And the frog says, "Thank you so much, xirtanul. I'm happy you helped me today."
We know it's not easy being green, but apparently being stuck in the dark world as a brown toad is less fun as well. However, Senior Frog makes sure to dance and find out what's in this cave before getting returned. And it is the arrows! That is a massive update, especially if Maligord does not check that area.
That Maligord has to catch up with xirtanul reduces the advantage that butter sword has.
Indeed. Lo and behold, we are now seeing what the breadsmith, after being returned from being Senior Frog, has, and it is 5 arrow upgrade. Now we see, xirtanul going and opting for the purple chest, hoping for that last sword upgrade perhaps, or the ice rod, which would be the bigger choice. Okay, for a second, since I didn't hear their audio, I was wondering to myself if they managed to have the debate on which do I go, Swag Duck or Magic Bat. Oh wait, no, they checked Magic Bat as seen on the HUD.
Yep, he's already checked Magic Bat earlier.
And a single heart container.
We're going to see xirtanul here for a little bit. Try to check just about every option before he dives into Turtle Rock without that ice rod.
Indeed. Maligord, with only confirming that the big chest had the compass, goes in to make sure to take care of Cold Stare for the exchange of a map. Once again, many of these places just making sure all of these competitors get the burrito that they indeed want for lunch.
We get xirtanul. Looks like he's on his way to go check the big boned fairy.
Also, speaking of things happening, Maligord literally cleaning house with Cold Stare, making that a super quick kill. Excellent job. And now, xirtanul goes on the long haul to find out what is indeed in the pyramid.
Not a whole lot of value here. How many places are there left that Ice Rod could be? It feels like we're just about left with nothing but inside Turtle Rock, it feels like.
At this point, there's not a whole lot of places they can go. They have checked pretty much every spot in the overworld collectively. Which means if this doesn't have the ice rod, it is most likely in Turtle Rock. And as we are seeing... Oh, that's right, this was already checked for the 320 from Maligord. It is most likely either Hookshot Cave at this point, or... Actually, you know what? We still haven't seen Dark Side, or East Side Death Mountain on the Dark World. It is possible that it's still there before going to Turtle Rock. However, with the way this is looking, it looks like it is going to most likely be on the laser bridge.
Wonder where is xirtanul going right now?
This is a very interesting route xirtanul is going. Have they checked the ether tablet? Are they perhaps going there first before heading over?
I don't know if he did check the ether tablet before.
Oh no, he's taking the gamble into Spike Cave.
Ooh,
Since Spike Cave is on a very low priority in the logic, if it's even accounted for in the first place, this is one heck of a gamble. Are we going to see it pay off? Hookshot strats used for Death Mountain Spike Cave to reveal just a bomb upgrade.
You know, if that gamble would have paid off, it really would have put him ahead of the curve. But so he really is checking just about every place you can before heading up there to Turtle Rock.
He absolutely has. However, Maligord, unfortunately, despite being in the same place, has not found the flute. So even if Ice Rod is in Turtle Rock, they are still a full dungeon away. Oh, Dead Rock showing... Oh, nope, never mind. I was going to say, Dead Rock still showing its level of frustration.
Maligord clearing out Hookshot Cave.
And as we are seeing, it turns out to be a whole lot of nothing.
Wow. That means we're almost...
Turtle Rock. Maligord going over, assumedly to find out what's an ether tablet. Although I thought they had perhaps... Oh, no. They are indeed also checking Spike Cave. As we know now, this is not exactly the best of choices. However, it is still, due to previous logics, a decent thought. We're already getting Ice Rod Mimic Cave as an option.
And it all comes down to not wanting to dive into a dungeon just because it's a pendant dungeon.
Yep.
Eventually, that's something that all runners have to get over, is that fear of going into a pendant dungeon.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's easier to take care of a pendant dungeon out of the way before continuing on, just to have that assuredness that you're not going to have to worry about it later. As we're seeing in this example, it definitely can pay off.
Well, and this is going to be one of those prime races because we saw Maligord put off going into Eastern Palace for so long earlier, and we're seeing him put off going into Thieves Town and going into Skull Woods to get that value that he needs right now.
Right you are, Vitasia, and that's going to be very, very... I can't even say. I was going to say it's going to be quite an interesting amount of time used, but at this point, each runner, with the exception of Swamp Palace, has checked nearly everything else in the overworld in both places. There is nothing else that they can really check except to double back to make sure they didn't not check it. The only thing I can say as an exception is Maligord has not gone to see Senior Frog and save the breadsmith, and nor have they gone into what seems to be Peg Cave, because otherwise they would have picked up those silver arrows. Here we have Maligord going back up, checking... Nope, going the long way around. It appears they may be aiming to go right into Turtle Rock, hoping that it is not the last dungeon they need to take. Little do they know, that is unfortunately not the case.
Well, I mean, I can't necessarily say it's a bad play, because you have everything needed to get through Turtle Rock, except for the ice rod. So, at this point, if you're trying to focus on just Crystal Dungeons, it's the most logical place for you to go right now.
That is a very good point. It does make a lot of sense in their shoes. They may have thought to themselves, perhaps I only need to go into one dungeon and the other things will fall into my lap. That has happened to a lot of people in the past.
Oh, look at that Staff of Brian Dash.
Yes.
That was a great run there.
Staff of Brian Dash is absolutely fantastic. Everyone used to say, oh, Cane of Brian doesn't really do anything except create lag. And then we see it dash right through that area, and I just go, excellent. Justification.
Brian is probably one of my favorite items, just because so many people deride it, but it is such a fun item when you can use it right.
Agreed. Mine is still the hookshot, because I love to see stupid good hookshot strats. Oh, and there it is itself, the ice rod.
So xirtanul is officially go mode because he's got the big key. Quick work of this dungeon now.
Go mode is now confirmed over for xirtanul, indeed. Maligord, meanwhile, is going to find out very soon that, yes, the ice rod is there. However, they may take the risk on going into the ice bridge to find out whether or not, the ice bridge? The laser bridge, to find out whether or not the flute is there.
So Maligord's probably going to spend time on the laser bridge, but xirtanul is going to get his keys and get out as quickly as he can, which, again, another smart move by xirtanul. If only he had that value and took time to go into those pendant dungeons.
Absolutely. This would indeed be a much closer race than it currently is, if that were the case. However, as we have seen in countless races in this tournament, saying anything other than it is still anybody's race has proven them wrong very many times over.
That's true. This tournament has been wacky so far, with people having crazy come-from-behind victories.
Left and right, I've been seeing seeds that only seem to have gotten tighter and tighter in terms of time differences. And here we are seeing some more Arcana Samaria strats. An interesting way of doing that one. I've normally seen the Cane of Samaria used first to get the hookshot off, or the dash off, but at the same time, still, I don't know, it's interesting, it's fascinating. I've never seen it that way, even though it is entirely possible.
Well, and usually what you see people do is bonk off that wall in order to kind of hop over the roller there, and
Indeed.
the roller was just on the other side, so it might be muscle memory at that point in time.
That's a fair point. With no keys and one key left to go, it appears xirtanul is going through Laser Bridge as well. Laser Bridge might be something that each competitor here is required to go through, which means that it's not that much of a time difference. That is actually only going to favor Maligord in the long run. Oh, and another fall, having to go all the way back up. Fortunately, a dash fixes that problem. Oh, except it was slightly 1 or 2 pixels too high from the normal dash strat. And once again, ooh, oh, you hate to see this.
Anything that wastes more time, and he's saying, nope, Staff of Brian time.
Brian once again pulling its weight.
Let this be a lesson to all you baby runners out there. Do not underestimate Brian.
Do not underestimate the power of safeties. Never think to yourself, oh, I can still do this. Always remember, the training ROM is your friend as well.
Xirtanul's approaching Trinex.
We're about to see everyone's favorite new Metroid fan streamer go and fight Xirtanul.
Got Maligord taking the long way around, hoping that there's something of value in this Mimic Cave.
And down goes the fire head. And now we're seeing the ice head get taken down for a very clean 1 cycle. And just as quickly as that, in an L shape, Xirtanul takes down Trihex.
That's about as clean as Trinex fight as you can possibly hope for right there.
Absolutely, that is something for people to take note of. Simply if they want to learn how to manage to take down Trinex that quickly.
Maligord finding the Riot Shield. Now that'll help him a little bit, make up a little bit of time in the laser room.
It'll also save him magic, because if I'm remembering this correctly, he never picked up a blue potion.
Blue potion or half magic, which was in the dungeons that he's skipped so far.
Oh no, he hasn't skipped Misery Mire. He doesn't have the flute, so we can't enter Misery Mire. Oh, that's a good point. Once again, hoping for the flute. It's gonna take care of this chest.
All right, chat room, we are entering Ganon's Tower. Get your guesses in. Where is the big key?
Because as we know, 1 through 22 is the number of chests that we have a chance of seeing before seeing the big key. Immediately, we're getting tile room 21, chest number 22. It looks like chat is out for blood.
I always like lamp, just calling it on the lamp.
Oh, the bonk lamp. I've seen that in this tournament more times than I've ever seen it in any other version of the logic. It is, it's 300 rupees instead.
I'm wrong. You know what? I'm wrong a lot. I'm fine with that.
I know my guess is late. I'm going with 16.
But chat seems like it's saying, no, you had a jet seed up until this point. We want to see you struggle a little bit.
Indeed. They have had a pretty fun seed so far. It wouldn't surprise me if it still had a trick up its sleeve. And there's the magic cape. They can now check Bumper Cave. Xirtanul.
Clearing out. Huh.
Xirtanul is... Oh, this is very interesting. Xirtanul is going a reverse Dark Magician strat.
I don't know if I've ever seen this routing before done.
I've seen this only once or twice, and it only paid off once. So we're going to find out. It feels like Xirtanul had the same thought of, this seed has been too nice, I wonder if I'm going to get trolled. We're about to find out if that is going to pay off for Maligord or not.
Well, and you know, every now and then when you take a risk like that, it's because you're feeling like you're behind. So it'll be interesting to see if Xirtanul feels like he's behind right now, even though we know that he's well ahead right now and can take his time a little bit.
At this point, I'm pretty certain... Oh, there goes that option for right side. We still have the tile room hype.
Rando room, I think, at this point in time. I've seen a lot of rando room.
In fact, the last race I watched, the big key was indeed in the rando room. It is possible that it is there. However, I am still hoping for right after Armos Nights. Even in chat, we are seeing people say, hope he didn't need that key that he skipped, because that is still a possibility. And let's hope that does not end up happening to xirtanul this time, because that will give Maligord that much more time to find the flute and then immediately go into Misery-Mire.
Oh, and Maligord not switching to Fire Rod early enough, letting the ice head get a blast off.
Ooh, never fun to have to deal with the slip and slide.
Only at birthday parties.
Very true. Birthday parties, or perhaps summer camp. And I hope you're all ready to see what's in the rando room. As we know, it can't be a final sword upgrade.
Yep, final sword for xirtanul is going to be over in from your uncle, actually.
Indeed.
You know, if Uncle has Butter Sword, he's really kind of a noob to lose the game that early.
And there is the key in the rando room once again. Well played, Vitasia, well played. If any of
you... I can't take credit for that one.
Wait a minute. I did say 16. I did think it was Armos Nights afterwards, but that does mean I technically did guess number 16. Or how many chests? 16 chests. I'm going to take that as a half victory for myself, but I'm going to give credit to everyone in chat that guessed 16. Such as Lana Bean, congratulations. Your prize today is being congratulated on stream. Good job. Good job.
I wonder what xirtanul's doing. He's got the big key. He's looking for more keys.
He is. He is going and not wanting to take the risk of having no keys. Once again, that one comment of, I hope he doesn't need another key, is coming to fruition. Oh, especially with a Gamer Cal chest right there. Oh, Bob turning into a fairy. Silver arrows out.
What's Maligord? He's just kind of sitting around. Oh, is he going? He's still not going up into Skull Woods.
Oh, it seems like we're going to be in here for the long haul. And down go Armos Knights. And we have a piece of heart. Red rupee, and this could be... Oh, it is a key indeed.
And he's dipping out and gonna start up on this gauntlet here.
Ooh, Maligord is finally going to find the silver arrows. They found Senior Frog, and now they are dancing, before going into the Cave of Wonders, and then bringing him back home to turn into a breadsmith. It's the weirdest story I've ever seen at Cinderella. Meanwhile, we have a decently quick clear of the two mimics in Ganon's Tower. We have another decently well-structured double kill in that.
That was a very clean kill by xirtanul. I'm going to steal that strategy again myself.
Same.
I think I've decided that that blacksmith's name is Jeremiah because he was a bullfrog.
Oh my goodness, what a beautiful reference. Now we're seeing a popular strat. We are seeing the invincibility frames used by taking a fall going over the bridge with the cannonballs.
Good strategy. Always one heart to trade for that treacherous bridge. Worth it.
And even in chat, people got that reference. Many kudos. The Skella Bros proving to be a little bit of a hassle. Fortunately, not too much of a hassle. Now with silver arrows, we're seeing Maligord run into Thieves Town. Oh no, if they only picked the other pendant dungeon. Unfortunately, it seems like we're going to see a full circle completion minus a pedestal hype.
It's a lesson that's learned a little too late, but that's okay. And xirtanul getting a little bit bodied here in this room.
And now we are seeing Lamolus with silver arrows. Here's some fun little retribution for having to deal with them early on without them.
And xirtanul struggling a little bit with Landmullis. He actually killed Landmullis faster the first time when he didn't have silver arrows because he got that fire rod strat off.
That is unfortunate. However, in his defense, silver arrows do have a little bit of an intricate timing to take than in using just regular arrows. Because not only do you have the lag, but sometimes the initial moment you start to fire, it does take a little longer. Again, probably just from lag, but nonetheless, the timing does become even that more slightly nuanced. xirtanul going past the two other bridges, and now we're going to see if they can clear the fire.
He's having some trouble here. I mean, he's getting kind of low on magic.
He is, however, he still has just enough to be able to make it out. That fall was indeed a strategical fall to make sure that they could get to the other side in time instead of having to worry about hitting the fire rod and then falling, causing even more time to be taken. And here we have a double Helmosaur Swooson. Only 2
and
hearts
he's got
left.
his last key.
Interesting that they didn't check out what the two consolidation chests were. Or consolation chests, because I can speak English. Or the 3 consolation chests before going into the validation chest with Troll Dorm 2, Troll with a Vengeance.
Making fast work. That's vengeance right there.
That is absolutely vengeance. That is downright therapeutic. Validation chest has been opened and it had a piece of heart.
xirtanul is now in everyone's favorite room and just dashing through it quicker than I think I've seen anyone dash through it this tournament.
I've seen very few successful dashes, and I have to say, that was one of the quicker ones.
Everyone loves that room, right?
Oh, that room. Let me tell you what I feel about that room, except I can't because we're on a family-friendly stream.
xirtanul struggling a little bit with Agadin. He's getting 2...
Well, we just got a
3
triple
shot
hit off, though, making up for the lack of the hits in the first shot. And there we have a double shot, making it effective. What was that, a 1, 2, 3? Effectively 3-round kill?
1, 2, 3.
And now we are seeing a slash, moment of awkwardness, and double slash before trying to charge into the bat. And we see that Blind is wearing a fancy black dress because it shares the same palette as the sprite that you were playing. Actually,
they look like they're going to a
like
funeral.
that. It is actually really cool. I do like that. It gives off a little bit of a goth aesthetic. Pizza joke? No, Blind finds it too cheesy. Meanwhile, Impa says the mark on Link's hand means that it was the one chosen to awaken Zelda, and that his blood can resurrect Ganon, even though Ganon is in the flesh right there. We're going and seeing the round 1 of the Ganon fight. It appears that they have counted appropriately, and now they are going in. Oh, they missed the count, I believe, by 1. They could have still slashed while Ganon's head was turning, and those head turns would still count towards the first phase.
Yep, and he probably just miscounted there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We've all miscounted something before.
Absolutely. And here we have a very quick second phase and into the third. Unfortunately, nothing of too much value pops up in Thieves Town. And Maligord is checking anywhere else that they can, unfortunately not realizing they've missed Magic Bat. So they're going there before trugging right in. Oh no, they're going for Purple Chest before chugging right on into Swamp Palace. Oh, and the Fire Punch was missed Fortunately, with half magic and silver arrows, this is not that bad. However, it is still at least... Oh, and it's a triple shot! Triple shot! That is impressive! Wow! xirtanul coming in and just saying, LOL, what's up? Time to just throw the hammer at you in the form of a bow. And here we have it. xirtanul has finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 33 seconds. Good game. My goodness. Seeing on the stream that xirtanul is even waiting, I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure. He's probably checking in the IRC chat, see what's going on. He knows he's won. GG xirtanul, and Maligord is still over here trying to find the flute. He is looking everywhere.
Absolutely. Poor Maligord is going to be in this for the long haul, and so are the rest of us. However, once he is ready, we will make sure to get xirtanul in for a post-game interview.
I'll go ahead and check with him in the channel. We'll see where we're at.
Oh, I literally just typed it in IRC.
Oh, well, okay. I'm cool with that.
Absolutely. Alright, cool. And it looks like they will be here shortly. In the meantime, I'll have a sip of my coffee, and unfortunately, Maligord going and finding not too much value as well inside of the Bombos chest. You really gotta feel. You gotta feel.
Well,
when you're witnessing someone being stuck, because everyone at some point has been this person.
We've all been there, trying to find that one item to get you through. And in his defense, Skull Woods is one of those places that only has 2 items. So you see, only 2 items. It's a pendant dungeon, and it's not even the green pendant. You're always hesitant to go up there because you're just presuming that there's going to be low value there. But in this case, oh, he's in a rough spot.
Absolutely.
Looks like he's finally making his way up there.
And here we go. Here we go. The last place he could check. Maligord is finally trekking through Skull Woods, and he is going to find within the first few chests he checks, nope, within the first 4 chests he checks, that the flute was there all along. I hope you all have popcorn, because the level of salt that is going to be coming out from the controller is going to be enough to make sure to season it for all of us. Or at least, that's how I imagine it would be going down. We'll find out as soon as he is done, and we will interview him, because let's face it, sometimes it's nice to be able to help someone out in a little bit of frustration with that race. And there it is, Doot Doot, he has found the flute. That moment of double menu disbelief. We have xirtanul, in the waiting room, and there he is. Everyone give a round welcome of applause and a good game to xirtanul, who has managed to win and come out on top.
Hey guys.
Hey, how are you?
I'm just fine. I just scared the living something out of me when my game absolutely froze just after the Ganon kill.
Oh, that's
what happened?
Oh my god!
Oh, my game just didn't react to anything anymore. I was just pressing random buttons and all of a sudden he started to shoot. I was like, okay, I can walk. This is good.
Oh, no.
We were concerned because we saw you just sitting there. We're like, okay, is he typing in IRC? What exactly is he doing? But, oh, you're frozen. That's... So, xirtanul, walk me through kind of your mindset as you're going through this early seed here. It felt like a jet seed. You're getting your mirror, your moon pearl, the hook shot so early. What's going through your mind on your routing then?
Well, basically, at first I was thinking, this isn't a V26 seed. And after that, I was thinking, I've got all these items. I can go to Hera at first and Desert. I finished those, and then I had access to Dark World, and I was like, okay, I could do Pod, Catfish, and like the entire circle of the Dark World, and I just went from there. and I finished Swamp, and then I found my Titan's Mitts, and I was like, okay, let's go to Mire right after, and Ice, and then I still lacked the Ice Rod, and somewhere in my head I was asking myself, it can't be in T-Rock, can it? Because I literally cleared 99% of the seed out. But I still had to do Fat Ferry, Blacksmiths, and all that kind of stuff. And eventually I only had 3 places left, I think, which was 1 item in Skullwoods, 1 in Thievestown, and T-Rock. And I was just like, okay, let's go for T-Rock. And yeah, I found the Ice Rod, and when I was like, okay, let's go. We're good to go then.
And that was a gamble that really paid off. You know, we were wondering, we had bets in chat going on where Ice Rod was going to be, and we all, you know, at some point we're like, it's got to be a T-Rock, isn't it? But that early seed, it was amazing watching you and Maligord go, because you both had so many different items. You both just like went in opposite directions, and both of them were valid choices, because you could go anywhere and still clear out pretty much whatever you wanted.
Yeah, like I said, we had full access to basically the entire Dark World, apart from the Titan's Mitts, that is. And we still needed flippers from Pod to enter Swamp, but basically everything else was open for us.
It was indeed. However, let's take a moment to just say, congrats on taking that gamble into Eastern Palace, because unfortunately Maligord decided to ignore all the pendant dungeons until the last possible moments.
Oh, then you got a really late hammer as well then.
He did. It wasn't too late. He took the gamble of Aga 1, and then decided to go into Eastern as he was attempting Palace of Darkness, found the hammer, tackled both of them simultaneously, which wasn't a bad call. However, knowing how early you could have accessed it was very unfortunate to see that time difference. So,
yeah,
I
indeed.
assume... Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying yes indeed to your comment.
Okay.
Well, and we kind of felt that theme go through. Is Maligord? He put off going into Eastern Palace, and he only just recently went into, after you had completed, actually went into Skull Woods in order to get the flute, which has been kind of vexing him. So, what's your strategy? At what point in time do you make the call to go into a pendant dungeon?
Well, at first it was, I think I cleared out a lot of the light world. I mean, even when desert, etc. I know desert after Eastern, but I was like, okay, Sash lies 3 items, and Eastern is an early dungeon which can be accessed, and usually has 2 items, like really early game. And I also had the lamp and the bow extremely early, so I knew I could finish it, and it was a green pendant. So basically, I cleared it out within, I think, 10 minutes or something, and then I could do the green pendant straight after.
It's a good call. Speaking of early items, I just wanted to let you know that you both found all 4 combined sword upgrades. However, you both neglected one spot. Yours was early game, his was Misery Mire. The uncle had Vanilla Sword.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about Uncle.
It's okay. I wouldn't have thought of it either.
Oh, and at some point in the game, I was like, okay, when I got Mitts, I was like, okay, I still need to do Uncle, and then I got so sidetracked, and the only thing I needed was Ice Rod, and I just completely forgot about poor Uncle. So yeah, I'm sorry, he's still lying there in Escape. I did not save him. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. The credits show that he indeed recovered. You are safe.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear that Uncle's fine.
Left him a sword to fend for himself.
Yeah, that's it. Usually you steal the sword from him, but I was like, okay, let's just give him the sword so he can actually get out himself.
Exactly. You were being smart about it.
I figure if you need Butter Sword to get through the escape dungeon, you might have some strategies that you're not doing right.
True. Unless you're trying to full clear it, of course.
Well, xirtanul, tell me, before this, have you experienced a faster seed? 149, that was a pretty quick seed. Is that your PR, or what's your best?
My PB is a 116, I think, in open mode, but that was during V24.
Oh, very nice, though.
But then again, that is a really uncommon seed. I think I had 122 after that, and the rest is all like 130, 145, something along that line. But nice. Since V26, with all the randomness of the items, it is really hard to get like a 140 nowadays.
Understandable. Pardon me. Anyhow, we have to say, congratulations again. That was one heck of a race, and you just managed to pull off all of the right chances at the right moments.
Well, that's basically rando for you. It's about taking risks and risk reward, I think.
That one makes sense indeed.
And you seem to take all the right risks at the right time. There were, I think the only time where it felt like you weren't in control of where things were is once we got to the ice rod, where up until that point you were just going and you didn't really have to search anywhere.
Yeah, but then again, at that point I had searched so much of the Dark World that it could only have been in certain places, unless it was at Uncle, of course, which I completely forgot, but yeah.
It's okay.
And I was just taking the gamble, like, I did the first 3 chests in TT, first 4, and I found 3 items, so I was like, the chances of it being there is really low, and Skullwoods would have been fast, but I just took the gamble for T-Rock.
It's a good choice. It was obviously a very good choice. We now have Vitreous coming up, and with those silver arrows, it just becomes just easy mode the moment you step in, and it's already done.
Yeah. Maligord will now head up to Ganon's tower and make quick work of it. Now that's
Tower, that's a very good reminder, xirtanul. That was a very interesting strategy that you decided to go what I'm calling a reverse dark magician, where you went to the right, you went to the left, and then you decided to go back over to the right. That was very interesting. What was your thought process on that?
I have seen that key being on the right side far too often that I like, and I was like, okay, I did not get a small key. As soon as I find one, usually there's 2 or 3 in the Stalfos room nowadays, I was like, okay, let's just go to the right and finish that one. And then I was still going back to Ice Armors, and I was like, oh wait, well actually I found a big key, and I was like, oh wait, I did not pick up that small key underneath the pot on the right side.
Someone picked that up in chat, and we were all hoping it wasn't going to be that case, and it was, and when that last chest in Armos Knights came up with a small key, that was relief.
Yeah, I was really happy about that. But then again, like I said, the biggest scare still had to come, because I was like just shooting random silver arrows, and I think what happened was that I shot one at the same moment that the cutscene started, because I saw an arrow fly, and that's why my character just completely bugged out.
Oh, that is scary. To get that far and just have everything start to go haywire, especially since you hadn't saved and quit for some time.
Yeah, I think after I got the flute, I did not save and quit. No, wait, after Spy Cave, I saved quit, so that would only mean I had to do T-Rock again, I think.
T-Rock, and then, of course, GT, indeed. Which, funny enough, even if that were to happen, it does look like you still might have won, even though at that point, marginally.
Yeah, but at that point, I think my heart couldn't take it anymore.
No, I don't.
Because I didn't see him finish it. I have no idea where he was. So yeah.
Oh, at that point, I would have attempted, or I would have considered quitting at that point, because that is just However, since also in this tournament, quitting is a very big frowned upon moment, maybe I would reconsider.
I always finish seeds. It doesn't matter how trolly they are or how hard. I mean, even if I have to do like a 3 hard green mail Vitreous, for example, with Fighter Sword, I still try to pull through.
That makes sense. It's good also practice just to make sure to get better, and no better means of explaining it.
And going through your stats, xirtanul, 0 deaths.
Oh, wow.
4 minutes and 23 seconds in item menu. You were that was a very efficient run, all things considered, from you. So very efficient there with both the menus and no deaths there.
Yeah, that is impressive. Good job.
Yeah, I was really happy with my routing. I only double dipped twice. Once actually, when I wanted to hand in the Fat Fairy chest.
Oh, that's right.
So tell me, xirtanul, since we have some extra time here, was there ever a point where it felt like you might be behind, where that voice in the back of your head's going, I gotta take an extra risk here and there because you're feeling like you're behind?
Well, the only not problem, but the idea I had is that he might be tied with me. So in T-Rock, I decided not to take the big chest at risk. So I was just hoping for for a small key to be in the laser room, and luckily it wasn't the very final chest up there. But
Gotcha.
for the rest, I just had the feeling that everything was going well. I mean, my execution on bosses and everything was just, well, okay. I mean, I only managed to have some issues on cults there, but the rest was just fine.
That's true. You also made very quick work of Trinex, which, on top of that, it was very fascinating to see that you timed it, even if not intentional, to where Trinex died in the shape of a J, or a backwards L. It was a very much 90-degree angle, and that was pretty great.
Yeah, that's what happens if you get the quick kill on him. He's just like, well, opposite of Link, I think, or he's just impressed with him, I don't know.
And now we see Maligord spamming Y over and over before finally hitting the double switch statue before going over into the teleport room. Not entirely sure why, but at the same time, maybe it was just they know they have some time to kill, so they decide to have a little fun.
Yeah, he's about to find his big key in Ganon Tower, though.
Oh, he is indeed. It's that moment where you think you have more questions, but in this case you had a really, really overall clean seed. So it's not even like we have something to talk about like, oh, the level of troll of what happened here, because realistically, aside from having a little bit of a moment of issue with Cold Stare... Wait, what?
Maligord is skipping the rando room.
Oh, no.
I think he just realized that he has to go to the rando room.
Oh, he did indeed. And he's trying to get back and he can't. Oh. Trying to do the bonk skip. Fortunately, is that a beetle? It always looks like a walking orb to me. But either way, the beetle decides to give him a hand. Oh, poor Maligord.
Man, that's tough. So, since we have some extra time, Zerd, talk to us a little bit about what you do to prepare for these sorts of races. What you did, leading up to, say, the round, the qualifiers, and then leading up to the tournament. Well, how do you prepare for these sorts of things?
Actually, I have had very little time to prepare for today, for example, because I restreamed one match and then I had to commentate the Killer versus Nicolachi game. And I was like, before that, I was like, okay, let's just have a nap first, then do a practice seed, and then I'm ready for the race. But yeah, I never got to that napping part, so...
Yeah, no, understandable. I actually watched that race as well, and I ended up going and saying to myself, maybe I should take a nap, and then 15 minutes later, I forgot I was going to take a nap.
Yeah, indeed. I just wanted to get one practice seed in, so I started one at 10 my time, and I think I was in go more than 1.5 hours, roughly, so...
Oh, not bad.
I basically had the same seed-ish as the tournament seed, so that kind of helped.
Nice. Maligord skipping over the rando room. Unfortunate. Let's see if they make that mistake a second time. I don't believe they will.
No, it looks like they're going right back to it.
At least he should know that the big key is in there, though.
Indeed. It seems at this time it's going to be a lot more of a quicker progress because they already know that at this point all it is going to take just a moment of their time, because now they have 2 keys. They have the ability to go against Ganon and the Gauntlet, and for them it'll just then be just easy coasting into the Ganon fight, especially with silver arrows. And here we have the same mistake not being repeated. And into the rando room we go.
Maligord's going to be kicking himself or herself. I really don't know gender here.
And Mushroom, we can go on a fetch quest if we really wanted to find out wherever the shovel was. And there we go. Up to the rest of the tower we head. Taking a moment to probably just take a breather in before going on up. Maybe double checking the amount of keys they had.
Yeah, at this point, there's no pressure. It's just wanting to finish. It's still going to be a strong time for this version. So.
Oh, absolutely. Still, for this version, a strong time indeed, considering there have been so many seeds already that have had stuff such as Fire Rod in Pendant. Or, sorry, Fire Rod in Pedestal. That, oof. That was oof. I can't even comment other than oof because of how much it just feels like a punch to the gut when you see that.
It does hurt. It very much hurts whenever you have anything of importance in pedestal.
Absolutely.
That room,
having only a slight bit of trouble with those two mimics. To be fair, if you're not used to it, that can be a bit of a hassle, and you will get zapped a few times by the Igors, or the I-beams, if you will.
That room reminded me quite a bit, xirtanul. You had a lot of strats, for example, in that double mimic room that just whatever it is that you did were strategies that for some odd reason I hadn't seen before, and I don't know if that's because I don't watch enough, but you did that double mimic room where you just made such quick work of it. You had an instance in Pod where the beetle dudes were all swarming up on you, and you just threw a bomb over them and knocked them all off, and I'd not seen that before. You had so many little slick tricks that I hadn't seen other people do, and I wanted to congratulate you on those and thank you because I am stealing those.
As long as you remember that it's copyrighted.
Yeah, you just gotta pay the royalties.
You know what? I will give you 10% of all the monetary earnings for any tournament that I enter. I have no problems with that whatsoever.
Well, that's being recorded. Dear CSAC.
No, but that's just the fun part about Randomizer. I think everybody's got his own little things about certain rooms, and sometimes I see different players using a way different strategy than me, but eventually it looks a lot easier, so I'm just going to try that one out, and if it is in fact easier, I will just use it.
That is definitely a good call. Besides, despite this being naturally a competition, this is still a community after all, and everyone does like to see when other people improve, and then perhaps even find new strategies. For instance, I didn't know you could actually pull off the Jesus Walk on Lake Hylia.
No, the same. I saw that one in Toyso's race, for example, when he tried to skip Aga 1, and I was extremely impressed, but I was such a shame that it didn't work because I got hit by that bomb guy.
Oh, yeah. I ended up missing that one, but I saw it used to get from Ice Palace to the warp towards Zora King, but they got hit by the Zora because it popped up from right under their feet, so they couldn't move anywhere. So they had to flute outward. Here we have Maligord making quick work of the bridges.
You mentioned the community, and let's give a shout out to the organizers, all the effort that the admins have been going through putting our shows together. This is one of the best online communities to be a part of, really. Right now.
And let's be real. When it comes to any sort of organization, be it a tournament, be it an event, be it your own birthday party, the level of things that you can do that will go wrong last second is phenomenally large in comparison, no matter how you prepare. And this has been going overall very smoothly despite any potential hiccups. So you have to really give a lot of credit to everyone behind the scenes, as well as the people that are working with us right now. For instance, over on our restream, we have Alvi. Make sure to give them a follow on Twitch. Speaking of giving people follows on Twitch, Dude, the person that has the best name that makes me reminded of Darude's Sandstorm, has been tracking for a total of 5 hours, because right before ours, they went literally from a match from the previously mentioned Fire Rod Pedestal Seed And of course, make sure you follow xirtanul as well as Maligord, because they've been giving you one hell of an entertaining race. That should be done for basically all of the runners, and the commentators too. But I'm not gonna self-promote, except I technically just low-key did. Anyways, Troll Dorm 2 showing that it is definitely not as difficult as Troll Dorm 1.
We'll tell you this, Xirtanul. You'll go back and watch the recording of this. Both of you guys, both Maligord and you, had such a rough time on Troll Dorm the first time. I think in total there were 5 drops between the two of you from the first Troll Dorm fights.
Yeah, I normally I hammer him down when I have it, and I just got so sick of falling down, I just pulled out my fighter sword and I did it that way.
No, we declared you don't actually win this fight. Troll Dorm actually won because of how rough he was on both of you guys.
Yeah, that was something else to say the least.
But let's give a shout out one more time to our runners, Xirtanul and Maligord. Give them both a follow. Give Alvi and Doodoo a follow on Twitch. Go ahead and even give Glentul a follow. You know, he's got his fan base here. And if you want to give me a follow, I guess I'll take that too.
Absolutely. Also, confirmed, you are now the 4th person in this community to accidentally call me Glentul just because of the way it looks.
Glentai, okay, Glentai.
Nope, don't worry. It's very common for that to be mistaken. I just like to point that out because it's a little bit of a humorous thing to me.
Well, you're going to be Glentul now, no matter what happens. It's going to be Glentul from here on out.
Lentil seeds are pretty good too, so I'll take that.
But anyways, guys, it's 2:20 here, so I'm gonna head off to bed.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna watch Maligord finish, though.
Understandable. You have a good night. You rest well. Congrats again. And of course, good game.
Yeah, and thanks for commentating and restreaming. I know how much effort it costs, so thanks a lot.
Hey, no, by all means. Anytime it's an entertaining race, it's always a joy to me.
Okay, and have a good night, evening, or morning, or wherever you're watching from.
Indeed. You as well, and we'll see you around.
Okay, see ya.
And we're getting, as Xirtanul ends,
we are in
Maligord.
Phase 3 of Ganon. Fortunately, Ganon's Tower giving a decent RNG when it came to Aghanim 2.
Maligord can get through this quickly. He's working on some low hearts here.
Indeed, switching over to the bow before remembering they had to make sure of, they were going for a quick double, and wow, they actually ended up pulling off the fire rod strat. That is not an easy window to make, especially since they went for the double shot. I gotta hand it to them. That is pretty impressive. It doesn't matter who you are. That is execution at its finest when it comes to simple strat like that. And now I see everyone confirming that my name is now Glentul or Glentul.
Well, my apologies. Well,
nope. You and 3 other people's apologies, don't worry. And down goes...
We got Maligord.
Maligord has made sure to take down Ganon, and we can confirm that it is done with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 17 and 54 seconds. Feel free to give the GGs over in chat, and very soon we will have Maligord over, and we will have plenty to discuss with them, and hopefully just as much conversation. Unless we're running short on time, then I'm going to feel like a jerk. But either way, we'll make sure to get Maligord in here as soon as they're ready. Now, just to hit them up,
Yep, we're just waiting for Maligord to come on over.
And I'm seeing stuff about this music, though. I think I might have to pop over to stream to hear what is going on. Because if it's good music, I am definitely interested.
That was actually what was slowing me down for whatever reason, is having the restream up was slowing me down. So I haven't seen chat at all since we started diving into the Dark World, really. So I'm going to have to go back and watch how chat reacts to things.
Sorry, I know I'm quiet, but it's just an orchestrated version of the end music of Link to the Past. And that is absolutely it's pretty.
Is that done by the Nintendo Orchestra that goes and does that over in Japan?
I wouldn't be surprised, but we're gonna definitely have to ask what song that is because I like it and I want it.
Let's talk to Elvie afterwards, and we might hold a stream hostage until, but no, they'll turn us off.
No. They would come in with the smoothest of band hammers and make sure to just bop us in the head.
Thank you, Elvie. We appreciate it.
Once again, make sure to give Elvie as well as Dude a follow, because they are excellent folks that have been pushing themselves to do some awesome things, because I can't restream. My machine is a potato.
You showed us a picture of your machine. I believe it. Yep.
Yeah, it's baked. I put in some new bacon ram strips.
The cooler, liquid cooling system filled with sour cream.
Absolutely, and it's delicious. Now, just make sure I get his name right. That is... Oh, let me help out in spelling Dude. That is Dude. There we go. Alvy, of course. ALVY. Make sure to give them as much follows and love as you can, along with our runners.
For those of you, while we're waiting on Maligord to come on over, as a reminder for everyone who's tuning in, there is a stream that just started, a race over on Randomizer Mania 4. It just started. Go ahead and head on over. Listen to us first, because we have a lot of great questions. See, Glentai even dipped out because he was so excited for the other race. He's coming back into the chat room here soon. This is incredibly awkward speaking to the chat room where I can't see chat. So feel free to say whatever dirty and nasty things to me. There you are.
So I have to apologize. I clicked on the wrong button because I am a clumsy herp derp.
All right, Maligord.
We're just waiting for Maligord to be unmuted. Whether they muted themselves or it was a server mute, we are unsure.
There we go.
Hey, awesome. Good game, Maligord. I know you said in good game, or that you meant, I thought GG meant good game, but no, good game. You didn't quit, you stuck through it despite all of that frustration. And to me, that is at least good enough to be qualified as good.
Oh, it's always fun to play this game, no matter how bad I do. Just bad decisions early. Going to Aghanim, I'm sure you guys were questioning that.
Oh, we were feeling for you.
I wanted to do the pod Eastern combo, and then in Eastern, of course, I see the Titans mitts. It's like, oh man. But
Yeah, the
Yeah.
hammer.
It did
Titan's
feel
Midst
like
Swamp.
oh, the hammer. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
it did feel like there was kind of a pattern where you always put off pendant dungeons kind of as long as you possibly could, and that with the hammer being in Eastern and the flute being in Skullwoods, that ended up those were the difference makers, really.
Yeah, and Moldorm trolled me for a few minutes, and I took an unnecessary death in there. But yeah, that flute that was the bad thing, and I wanted to keep progressing through the crystal dungeons as long as I could. So
Oh, absolutely.
why
It's
I went
logical.
and I thought I was doing good. I went in Swamp and I found the Titan's Midst there, and that got me into Ice, and just kept going from there. But that flute.
Yeah, no, I'm not even kidding you. When we saw flute in there, the first thing we said was something along the lines of, "Oh no!"
yeah.
Well, and we can't say it was a bad call either, because Skullwoods only has 2 items, and it was a pendant dungeon that wasn't green, so...
Yeah,
So it was entirely possible that, sorry to cut you off, that it was unlikely that you had to jump in there. Unfortunately, version 26 is a very cruel troll.
It's very, very cruel, but it's a lot of fun, and I learn a lot every time I play. Just when I think I can't possibly see anything else, then that happens, and really when I looked at the map and saw that Thieves and Skull were both pendants, I thought maybe I made the right call, because you start over there and do those, and you're just doing pendant dungeons, but it wasn't meant to be today.
Unfortunately so. It does happen.
To make you feel better, though, you weren't the only one that had some Trolldorm drama. Between you and xirtanul, there were 5 or 6 times that you guys both dropped. So he won the run, really, was what it came down to.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, you also did have only 1 death counted. That is still far better than many people.
Yeah, and I forget now where it was. It was pretty early, but it was one of those that shouldn't have happened deaths. And
Oh, of course.
I don't know if you guys were seeing it, but I thought my Ice Palace was one of the best I've had, especially Cold Stare.
That Cold Stare was
I was
super
looking-
clean.
So a lot of positives to take out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. That Cold Stare was super clean.
Well, thank you guys for all you do. I got to get out of here, but there's fun,
By
and
all means.
I have
a
another
good
race
night
on
if
Sunday,
it's-
so maybe it'll come out better then.
Hey, best of luck, of course. Make sure
Thanks, man.
everyone, hey, have a good one. And everyone in chat, make sure to give our runners a follow. They definitely busted ass to give you one hell of a good race.
All right, see you guys later.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, Maligord. And with that, we won't have any final thoughts. Glenty and I will be signing off for the night. Remember, head on over there to Randomizer Mania 4. There's another race that just got started a little bit ago. Give all of your runners a follow. Our restreamer Alvi, Dude, our tracker, Glenty, myself. If you love this tournament, keep track of us. We're going to be going strong through November. It's going to be a long tournament. Looking forward to every minute of it, though.
Absolutely, and probably going to be keeping the same level of hype. But until the next race, hi, I'm Glenty.
And I'm Vitasia.
And we will see you later.